Hello everyone, and welcome back to another vlog from the Vlog Corner here. And this is Kamo's vlog, coming to you live from my room here, as you can see in all of its gratefulness. And you guys can see that the quality is a little bit better, but not much. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you my iPad front facing camera. Yes, I'm back on my iPad for the vlog. I just don't trust my iPhone. I just don't trust my Samsung at the moment. I do not know what's up with it. I have tried a couple of things and everything, but I want to go back to this. Yes, I do know how to upload because I can upload on the web browser Chrome or Safari, whatever you want to call it, because it's actually freaking reliable, folks. And I like that because I can actually record something and I can upload it without a problem. That's great. So what I'm going to do now that I'm back on the iPad, yes, is coming back. I don't have a new one. I believe that old tech is fine. I can do whatever. It's going to be great. Heck yes. And everything. I can pause. I can do whatever I want. And it'll be great. So yeah, I hope you guys are going to enjoy this one. I cannot splice these videos together, unfortunately, because I don't have that tech anymore. Thank you to Apple for getting rid of. I forget the app now because I don't remember it. But all I know is I can upload this in the way it is, and it's not going to cancel anytime soon because that's just the way how it is. So yeah, guys, welcome back. That is not the focus of this vlog. Today is vlog 775, and yes, you guys will notice the vlog streak is over. Sorry, sad face. I just realized I hit 31 days last year, so if I hit 30 days this year, that'll be fine. I think I'll hit 306, and that will be 12 higher than last year. Because realistically, I hit 294. If I hit 306, it'll be fine. 305 ish. Because the real count you guys are seeing right now on the channel is higher. I'm obviously not going to record. You guys are probably getting the gist of it now that there's no way in heck I'm going to record 365 days. You guys will be bored out of your minds with me if I record 365 days. But if I can record, I'm trying to up my limits here. If you guys can see where this all goes, 44, 162, 303, well, 294, but I'm going to keep upping my limits and keep challenging myself to do more of these vlogs a year, but I'm not going to do 365 vlogs a year. That is just too boring, and you guys will not like me rambling on for the rest of my life like that, because that's it. But that is not the reason why I'm here. Today is 7:75, and I'm 3 minutes in. The reason why I want to record today is because today is December 7th, 2018. A lot of you know the significance of this date. A lot of you are aware of it. For everybody out there that knows this, you can ask older folks about this. People who live through it. People who remember it. But today is the day that will live in infamy. Yes, for those of you who are probably one of the worst days in American history, even though there's some controversy about what we did during the war. I'm not going to get into that. That's a story for another day. This is kind of a sneak attack. This is the 77th anniversary of maybe one of the worst attacks on American soil ever. The only ones that were even worse than that were, of course, 2001, 9/11, 2001. Of course, that's the one that will live in infamy. That's kind of the Pearl Harbor of my generation. But so nearly, from what I understand, it was a sneak attack on our fleet in Honolulu, well, not Honolulu, Hawaii, but Hawaii, USA, and it was quite blatantly a sneak attack. The Japanese stuck up on us, and they did a number on Pearl Harbor and our defenses. Would it take us time to rebuild? Yes. Would we go back, and did they go back and probably wake up maybe one of the worst enemies in the world? Yes. Basically, what the Japanese did on this day was basically wake the sleeping giant. They were told many times, do not do this. Now, I know the reasons for it, and some of them are legitimate, some of them are not. There was tensions because of the internment camps. A lot of you, if you guys know about it, we had internment camps because we weren't very. We had our reasons for having the internment camps because we were kind of because we were. It wasn't very humane, but we had we had the internment camps around here. That kind of came after the Pearl Harbor attacks. And I think a little bit before, because I think we were getting a little antsy about them here and there, about the Japanese. And we also had problems trading with them as well. A lot of people think that this wasn't. A lot of people think was just a random attack. It was provoked. It wasn't provoked. It was provoked. There was a bunch of things. We also weren't trading with them properly. There's some goods that they wanted, and it all mishmashed into the thing, into the basically one of the worst things in the world. Now, was it? Now were we to blame on some of it? There's still some controversy there. I will go into another topic, but the main story here is the Japanese didn't get what was happening here, and they basically, instead of talking it out like normal people, they attacked us because they didn't understand, basically. And, you know, if you want to figure something out, or if you don't think something's fair, it's better to talk about it. Unfortunately, there was miscommunications, and then eventually, what happened was they said, well, enough's enough. We're going over. We're going to hurt them hard. And by far one of the worst decisions ever made, because over the next 4 years, in the Pacific Theater, we basically traded blood. It turned it into a nasty war where millions of people got killed. American lives got lost. You know, a lot of American soldiers, a lot of Japanese soldiers, and it ruined our way of life. It ruined some people's ways of life. Prisoners of war and all this other stuff. But it all stemmed from maybe one of the worst attacks on American soil. Now, yes, I know Hollywood has a bunch of stuff that glorifies her heroics, but it was just a sad day in American history that, it's, our confidence got hit big time when that happened. Just like 9/11 hit our confidence big time. I remember being very, very scared. And I could only imagine it, being very, very scared of an imminent attack. We were just back in. Now, did we know that the attacks were going to happen? We certainly did, I think, on some level, but we didn't think that we didn't think they were going to go through with them, but we knew tensions were high, and there was a lot of people scared about that, and that's the reason why the internment camps, unfortunately, got designed to figure out if there were any spies in this country. And it was probably one of the darkest points in our history, but I'll get into that in another time. A lot of people will agree with me. That wasn't a great move by us, because a lot of people said we were no better than than the Nazis or the Germans. But a lot of people say it was for security reasons, which kind of is a valid reason. But there was a better way to do it, unfortunately. But it was pretty nasty. I think there's a movie on it of those internment camps. I forget the name for the life of me. It's with Dennis Quaid and Dennis Quaid Japanese movie. Believe it's it's called Come See Paradise. It's kind of a sad story. It kind of shows you the bit, but between that and a couple other things, the Japanese were like, okay, you know, and I think partially, our involvement in that whole thing kind of screwed it up, but it takes two sides of aggression to come together and just, even though we could have talked through with some of the trading stuff and we could have done the internment stuff a little bit better, and a lot of people will agree with me. I know Tom, my friend, and I talked about this a couple of times. It wasn't very great, and we could have done it a better way, but unfortunately, when you act out of fear, sometimes you don't always make the right decisions. And we were acting out of fear at that time, and a lot of people now look down on that part of history, and they're sort of right. But the biggest thing here is the attack should have never have happened, and the Japanese should have been more diplomatic about it instead of just going in. Now I know they were linked with the Axis powers, Hitler, the such, but I think it might have helped them out a little bit more if they actually talked it out, and knowing their culture. The Japanese culture has always been kind of freaky. I should know because I watch anime all the time. So, I mean, come on, this has come from the land of people where where you have anime with girls that are all sexualized and everything. So they're always an interesting. They're outside the box thinkers, as I may put it, but they kind of attacked us, and we didn't need to. We could have done diplomacy, but it didn't work that way, obviously, because obviously they were under the thumb of the Nazi regime and all this other stuff. But they killed thousands and thousands of American lives. And I think we might have been willing to talk to them in order to straighten this out, but we didn't. So, but they didn't. We were ready to talk, but we obviously didn't know that was the case. So we kind of learned from there on in, and we lost hundreds. We lost many battleships, thousands of lives. Nurses gave their lives during that day. I know the reason why I'm saying this is because my mother's a nurse. So, a lot of people were killed by an attack that should have never have happened. And it's the reason why the day will live in infamy, because the Japanese, what they did was inexcusable. Now, I could launch into what the Japanese did during the war, but a lot of you guys, if you guys watched Bridge on the River Kwai, any of the Japanese movies the Great Raid and everything, it kind of depicts just how nasty the Japanese were. And back then, the culture has obviously changed a little bit since then, but it's it goes from this. It's pretty interesting, but to all the people who served in that Pacific Theater, because my great uncle Bill served in the Pacific Theater, and my friend Tom's grandfather, Richard Sutherland, or Dick Sutherland, Richard Sutherland, served as right hand man to General MacArthur, and it's great to know somebody who knew somebody who was close to a very, very famous general. And that is, and all those guys served my uncle and his family member. I think it was a great grandfather. I think it was a great uncle. He'll obviously correct me in the comment section, Tom. If you need to correct me, go ahead, because you're my buddy. I'll accept it. But yeah. What have I been recording for? 20 minutes? 16. But yeah, I just want to say that the lives lost on that day sparked the start of the Sleeping Beast. Because when the Imperial Japanese, let me get that straight, the Imperial Japanese Navy and Army decided to bomb and hurt the pride and joy, our Navy, at Battleship Row that day. That got a lot of people pissed, and that got everybody active. That's the reason why we had the whole war thing go on. And for the thousands of people and the hundreds of sailors, and for the people that got injured, that died that day, all those people, I forget the number, because it's numbers are numbers, because you're never going to be able to replace them. So let me put that out. But part of the Asiatic Pacific Theater of World War II, and it was known as Hawaii Operation, or Hawaii AI, or Operation, and it was known as Operation Z during its planning, and was known to us as the Battle of Pearl Harbor. We lost 4 battleships. 4 battleships get damaged with one battleship got sunk, and 1 harbor tug got sunk. 3 cruisers, 3 destroyers, 3 ships, 188 aircraft, and 2,335 people are dead, and 1,143 wounded. And this is the bit that gets even worse. In their losses, they had 4 subs, 1 midget grounded, 29 aircraft destroyed, 74 damaged, and 64 killed, and 1 sailor captured. And to be honest, I really do think we probably interrogated a living crap out of him, because and because we wanted to figure out what the hell this was. This was a preventative attack to keep the U.S. fleet from interfering. What a bunch of crap that was. It was a bunch of trading. And they didn't want us getting any stronger, of course. Amazing what the internet does. Background to conflict. Diplomatic background. "1940, And this is, remember how I told you guys, the Japanese and French Indochina, attempting to stymie the flow of supplies reaching the United States, halted shipments of airplane parts, machine tools, and aviation gasoline, and was later perceived as an unfriendly act. We were trying to help out the Chinese. Well, because the Chinese and the Japanese were huge enemies. So, yeah, so we halted their stuff, but you see what I'm saying. But let's aside, we had our motives. They had their motives. But 2,335 freaking people didn't need to die that day because the Japanese couldn't make up their minds. Obviously, the Nazi regime and the communist threat obviously promoted their actions. Quite honestly, and some of our actions, unfortunately, did that too. But 2,335 people, I'm going to give you a motive. I'm going to give them a moment of silence of a minute. We're starting right now. They wanted. They saw that. It's been a minute yet. Oh yes, it has been. Has been a minute. So yeah, there's a lot that went into this. Obviously, there's some stuff that I obviously can't say on screen. There was a huge thing, but at the end of the day, my thoughts and prayers go to the souls of those 2,300 people, plus people that end up dying in that conflict. And yes, there was 64 Japanese, but to knock out nearly what gets my goat, but to knock out nearly 68 civilians and wound 35 and three civilian aircraft to be shot down, that was a huge price to pay, and it was unacceptable. Their actions were unacceptable, to say the least. I know people are gonna say that our actions were unacceptable, but we kind of had to help out the end. It's kind of the trade off, of us bringing instability to the world. And a lot of people think we're bringing instability and all that other stuff. So it was a pretty dark day and a pretty dark time for not only us but the Japanese and the rest of the world. And it started off a conflict that didn't need to happen, but unfortunately it did, because we obviously had to fight communism, socialism, and fascism, obviously, and then we had to fight the Japanese, of course. So yeah, may this day live in infamy. Everybody, it's been a long one. If you guys endured the length, I applaud you. Mike Mo here on December 7th, 2018, here for data entry 775. I'm not going to do my usual outro because this is, well, my usual outro. I'm going to modify it a little bit. So, as usual, everybody, long live America, God bless America, long live this great nation, let it stay strong, and let us try to push for world peace so that attacks like Pearl Harbor never happen again. And amen to my Uncle Spirit, my Bill Camo, who fought in the Pacific Theater, and also amen and God bless my grandfather spirit and my grandmother Eunice Camo spirit. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Mike Camo here for another vlog. Oh yes, and Richard Sutherland's spirit as well, because he served in the Pacific Theater. Mike Camo here for another vlog. Peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully you guys can endure this one. But I'm long-winded because it's history and I love it. Alright, everybody. Peace. This is the broadcast for the night.